guys and gals, and we're here from Drake Wing Gaming, and something on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Heroes Advent, Kody's Path. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Looks like Cassian got tricked into tackling Alisa, which is going to break her concentration. That's not going to end very well for anybody. Alright, let's see what happens, shall we? Goodness, Cassian! Your bodies make contact as you both fell hard onto the floor. A clattering is heard along with soft flopping onto the concrete. Alyssa's voice shook you immediately as you drew yourself off her in embarrassment. Alisa? What are you doing here? That should be my question to you, dear. What in Arborea are you doing in the sanctum? In the city at all, for that matter? No, none of that matters right now. Are you alright? I didn't hurt you, did I? Ed Ashford, did he try to hurt you? Easy there, Cassian. Shh, it's all right. She sat up, reaching out to pull you into an embrace. At that moment, you heard footsteps running out of the room. I'm fine, Cassian. I'm just glad to see you safe. And this Ashford, is that the chef Kody's assistant? Why would he be here? Wait, you didn't hear everything that just happened now? I'm afraid not. Keeping the crystal aloft is a taxing ordeal of its own. The crystal! As the rabbit sage gasped, a large metallic twang rang out above the sanctum as the guardian crystal's chaotic vibrations began to go haywire. The ground began to rumble as the crystal approaches the ground, fully unbidden. Cassian, stay close! Alisa held you tight to her chest as she vocalized an incantation. You didn't get to take in her silvery voice as chunks of the crystal crashed against the sanctum's roof. You screamed, out of instinct, as you felt the weight of the world crumbling down on you. Oh yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Weapon, equipment, and miscellaneous confiscated from inventory. It all began with the nothing. The void. It knew all, for all was not. Okay. Until it knew of Logos. Through the center of the nothing was pierced the light of Yor, and from it bequeathed the blessing of Yogos. The primordial light was split into four, governed by the fifth, the giver of Bios. All that is known, all that is seen, the universe came to be, commanded by the three. The four governed the universe, the envoys. Ether, the master of Yogos. Tellus, the speaker of Yogos. Nether, the arbiter of Yogos. All are Yogos, and Yogos is all, and all is harmony. Your eyes snapped open, finding yourself outside of the Guardian Crystal's temple, in the outer gardens where Alisa had invited you for tea. You pat yourself down, inspecting yourself for injuries, likely having fallen out of one of the windows when the temple collapsed. What happened? Did the crystal fall? You turned around to where you expected the temple to be, only to be met once more with the void, vast and empty. I'm dreaming again? Does that mean I'm not dead? The vaguest of memories blended together in your addled mind, colorful scenes under murky waters that flitted away as you reached for them. Alisa! What happened to Alisa? All at once the picture became clearer. The fight with Ashford, your pursuit in the temple, the illusion that had disguised her as your enemy. The Guardian Crystal's collapse. Alisa saving you. Your legs gave out from under you, the plush grass below softening your landing. It took a while for you to compose yourself. Your nerves quelled as an ominous cold wind blew across the garden. Your feeling was familiar. The presence of the entity you had encountered at the Akai tree, something foreign making its way to you. Maker, are you out there? You called out, tremulous and unsure. The impermanence of this place meant it wasn't guaranteed to be the same presence. The first thing to catch your attention was the flower bed to the left of you. the flower's hues shifting from the vibrant reds, pinks, and yellows into a pale, transparent blue. You fixed your gaze on them, attempting to confirm to yourself whether that what you were seeking was a trick of the mind or an actual distortion of the space. You reached for the flowers, only to feel the cold, wet sensation of water over your fingers as they passed through its now amorphous form. They collapsed into a puddle, provoking a ripple effect as the flower bed was washed away by waves, leaving in its wake a sandy beach that spanned far into the void. Your ears swiveled at the sound of heavy rustling behind you. You wheel around, expecting something to come charging at you, only to find the trees in the garden quivering, their branches jostled by some unfelt wind, roasting their foliage into a crimson rust, whisked away and piling on the now yellowed grass. You notice that these alterations aren't as violent as what you had experienced previously, only to be sobered by a harsh wind blowing in your face, almost as blistering as the time you first experienced a walk-in freezer. You shielded your eyes until the gale subsided, revealing the area just across from you now coated in a vibrant snow that stood out uncannily in the void. Every last bit of vegetation turned to glassy ice, sparing what little remained of the flowers and grass upon where you stood. Each of the 4 seasons were now represented within the temple's garden. Ah! Not yet finished, something erupted from the ground, throwing you back into a leafy pile. From the other seasons, you spotted similar structures bursting forth from the ground. A pile of flotsam wood lazily cobbled together into a lounging chair from the sand. From the blanket of leaves popped up a trunk, with mushrooms serving as the cushions, like something you'd see in a children's fairy tale. And from the pile of snow revealed a hardwood chair with a wine-red backrest that wouldn't look out of place from an old-timey tavern. Then beneath you, in the shape of a grandmotherly sofa, was a topiary adorned in aromatic white flowers. Now that you realized it, the other chairs were also decorated in flowers befitting their stations. Even against all odds, the harsh and unrelenting snow let them effloresce vibrantly, a familiar vibration emanating through it, connecting them all together. Your vision dimmed for a moment, the chairs seemingly returning to the void, only for the darkness to coalesce into vaguely humanoid figures, taking their rightful places upon each perch. Well, isn't this a pleasant surprise? It appears fate has indeed brought us together once more. Oh. Well, if this isn't a pleasant surprise, it appears fate has indeed brought us together once more. Oh, Gregory, hey! A wave of relief washed over you as you placed a face to the shadowy bulk seated upon the winter seat. You know them, Snowy. The shadow leaning intently upon the sandy lounge chair spoke up, his voice sounding like he could have been a senior at your college. Okay. You know them, Snowy. Yes, this young man comes from the dreamscape of one of my owns. Alisa's protege. A good kid. That one still got a long way to go before he can claim to be a hero, however. Is that so? And what would this hero's name happen to be? I'm Cassian. Well met, Cassian. I take it that Lady Spring has invited you to our humble get-together. A third voice spoke up to answer in your stead, a wispy voice laden with faux haughtiness. It appears that she is beyond the reach of this realm. However, it seems that she has sent her little hero here in her stead. The boy, you say? Yes. Can you not perceive her magi signature emanating from him as we speak? Tell me, child, what is your connection to Alisa? Well, Alisa, Lady Spring, is my caretaker. She saved me when the king brought me to this world. You recounted your experiences from the start. Omitting your origins, you explained the extent of your relationship with Alisa, your time in Arborea, the current affairs in Crystal Coast, and the apparent demise of Alisa and the Guardian Crystal. That's quite a bit to take in. This explains the abnormal disturbance in the Magi field I foresaw. But to have been the result of the Great Crystal's shattering... Huh, I was against this namby-pamby plot from the start, I tell you.
What was she thinking, sitting with our haunches pressed against the sea and mountains, waiting for the king's forces to crush them? Were they under my guidance, we would have stricken the king upon his own throne.
Yes, quite well said, Commander Frost, though shall I ask why that has not come to pass as of yet? The taunt sent the Boris Major back into his seat, presumably fuming at the live woman tittering at her comrade. Alisa has her own ways of facing adversities, Frost, and we have our own ways to protect our own. What happened to Crystal Coast is nothing short of a travesty, yet this outcome was preordained by the Maker.
Preordained?
Indeed, with or without Cassian's interference, the crystal would stand no more. If that is true, Lady
Autumn, then I dare say better without.
Wait, I was deceived. Ashford. He's been laying in wait for this whole time. He's the one behind all this. The crystal's destabilization, the invasion, that last-ditch illusion.
Ashford, how many more of the king's generals have made it this far into untainted land?
Hold, Soleil. I believe this Ashford he speaks of is in fact Sinis.
Sinis? The one we've lost surveillance of recently.
The one and the very same.
Sinis?
Wait, I think I've heard this name somewhere before. I just can't remember where. But even then, I didn't know it was the same person, because he told me his name was Ashford Helm Garden or something.
Must be a pseudonym by the sounds of it.
Indeed. Our understanding is that Sinis hailed from what is, or what once was, Helmgarten. Quite ambitious for a thrall, that one. Not a formidable foe on his own, yet a master of subterfuge. Quite the elusive opponent for a young protege to handle. Though her tone was sympathetic, you still felt shame being taken in by one of the king's servants. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!